This is the first of the videos that I'm going to be making with Tasita Small about Black Lives Matter. So thank you for joining us, Tasita.
That's okay, brilliant.
And in this video, I'm interested in, since the death of George Floyd and Black Lives Matter happened, what have you noticed and what's actually changed?
I think for me, the biggest change has been the conversation. First of all, the conversation happening amongst colleagues, amongst friends, in the media, talking about the impact of the death of George Floyd, but also racism, systemic racism, microaggressions. It's all now become part of our everyday vernacular, and that's been amazing. I think the challenge now is to keep the momentum going. We've got a summer of education, I've been calling it, where we've got time to kind of pause, read, listen, learn, grow together, where we now go into the last quarter of the year with a little bit more knowledge than we had before. And it's what we do with that that's really important. So whether it be things that you do at work, diversity schemes that are being introduced or reignited, looking at hiring, looking at training. So there's so much to do now. I just don't want the momentum to go away because it's never happened like this before. And this is our civil rights movement today. This is our time to make a difference and an impact for the next generation. I don't want it to be wasted. So for me, it's about amazing the conversations here, but how do we keep up this momentum?
Fantastic. And in terms of your feelings, because I'm sure at the time when it happened, there were many, many different emotions and feelings going around. What's been your journey with those feelings?
I think it was surprise, shock, sadness, jubilation. There's so many happening at once. Also, no surprise, because the death of George Floyd is not new in my community. That type of death happens, but the reaction to it happening, where people had no choice but to look. You couldn't look away because we had nothing else to do. You had to look, you had to listen, you had to understand that this isn't right. And then the ripple effect of that around the world, and the fact that there was still marches happening now, people still protesting, still wanting to keep the pressure on. How do we change the system? The system is broken. That, I think, has been riding that wave. It has been the massive emotion for me, and it goes up and down, because some days you have good days where you're ready to fight the fight, and then some days you're just exhausted by it all. So the emotions for me and people that I know, up and down. You see some people that are being allies, really up for the fight alongside, side by side. What can I do? What should I be doing? I'm doing this, this, and this. And then also the silence as well, as to maybe this will go away, because it causes an uncomfortable situation. Sometimes the spaces where these conversations exist are uncomfortable. But what I say to people in that situation is, you have to be uncomfortable to become comfortable. So you have to allow and figure out what the emotional uncomfortableness is. Is it guilt? Is it shame? Is it ignorance? Is it arrogance? Once you go through those and you work out what it is, you will then move to a space that becomes more comfortable, and you'll become active, and you'll like it. You'll like doing stuff like this and supporting, your fellow humans.
That's really interesting to hear. Thank you, Tasita. In our next video, we're going to be talking about what white privilege is. So join us then. Thank you.